This whale, injured by millions of barnacles, was successfully rescued. The sun hung low over the Pacific, casting a golden sheen across the restless waves. Beneath the surface, a gentle giant-toe humpback whale named Cal glided through the depths. His massive body a silhouette against the fading light. But something was wrong. His once sleek skin was encrusted with millions of barnacles, their jagged shells digging into his flesh, weighing him down and sapping his strength. Cal was in pain, and his journey through the ocean had become a battle for survival. This is the story of Cal's incredible rescue, a tale of human compassion, teamwork, and the unbreakable spirit of a creature fighting to live. It's a story that will grip your heart, keep you on the edge of your seat, and remind you of the beauty and fragility of the world we share. A whale in distress. Cal was no ordinary whale. At 40 feet long and weighing nearly 30 tons. He was a majestic humpback, known for his haunting songs that echoed through the ocean. For years, he had migrated thousands of miles, from the warm breeding grounds of the tropics to the nutrient-rich feeding waters of the Arctic. His life was a rhythm of seasons, a dance with the currents. But this year, something had changed. It started with a single barnacle, a tiny crustacean no bigger than a thumbnail. Latching onto Cal's tail during a rest near a rocky reef, barnacles are opportunistic creatures, seeking out any surface to call home. For a whale, a few barnacles are harmless, easily scraped off against rocks or shaken loose during a breach. But Cal's immune system was weakened, perhaps. From a brush with a fishing net or a bout of illness, and the barnacles multiplied unchecked. 1 became 10, 10 became 100, and soon millions of them coated his body like a living armor. The barnacles were relentless. Their sharp, calcified shells embedded into Cal's skin, causing lesions and infections. Each movement was agony, and the extra weight hundreds of pounds of barnacles made swimming a grueling effort. Cal's energy waned, his songs grew faint, and his migration slowed to a crawl. He was falling behind his pod, and the ocean, vast and unforgiving, offered no mercy. It was off the coast of Baja California, Mexico, that Cal's plight caught the attention of humans. A group of local fishermen, casting their nets at dawn, spotted a dark shape in the water. At first, they thought it was a rock or a piece of driftwood. But then it moved, and a massive tail broke the surface, sending a spray of water into the air. The fishermen, seasoned men who knew the sea like their own heartbeat, realized this was no ordinary sighting. The whale was struggling, its movements sluggish, its body covered in a strange, mottled crust. One of the fishermen, Miguel Alvarez, grabbed his binoculars. "Madre de Dios," he whispered, passing the binoculars to his brother, Juan. The whale's skin was barely visible beneath the barnacles. Its eyes, usually bright and curious, were clouded with exhaustion. Miguel, who had seen whales his entire life, knew this one was in trouble. "We have to do something," he said. The call for help. Miguel and Juan returned to shore and contacted the local marine rescue organization, the Baja Marine Conservation Network. The BMCN was a small but dedicated group of biologists, veterinarians, and volunteers who worked to protect the region's rich marine life. When Miguel described the whale, the team's lead biologist, Dr. Sofia Reyes, knew they were facing a crisis. "Barnacle infestations this severe are rare," Sofia explained to her team. "They can cause serious injury, infection, and even death if left untreated. We need to act fast." Sofia and her team gathered their equipment, dive gear, medical supplies, and specialized tools for removing barnacles. They also reached out to international experts, including Dr. James Carter, a marine veterinarian from California with experience in whale rehabilitation. James had worked on similar cases, though none as extreme as this. "This whale is carrying a city on its back," he said, after reviewing photos sent by the fishermen. "It's a miracle it's still alive." The BMCN team, joined by James and a handful of volunteers, set out at first light the next day. They loaded their boat with everything they might need: antibiotics, anesthetics, and a custom-built net designed to stabilize whales during medical procedures. The fishermen, Miguel and Juan, insisted on coming along, their knowledge of the local waters invaluable. As the boat cut through the waves, Sophia briefed the team. "Our goal is to locate the whale, assess its condition, and remove as many barnacles as possible without causing further harm. This is going to be delicate work. One wrong move, and we could stress the whale to the point of no return." The team nodded, their faces set with determination. They knew the odds were against them. Whales are wild creatures, unpredictable and powerful. Approaching a 30-ton animal in distress was dangerous, and the open ocean added its own challenges: currents, swells, and the ever-present risk of equipment failure. But they also knew that doing nothing wasn't an option. Cale needed them. Finding Cale locating a single whale in the vast Pacific was no easy task. The team relied on Miguel's description of the sighting and data from local whale-watching groups, who had reported a struggling humpback in the area. After hours of searching, a volunteer spotted a faint spout on the horizon, a telltale sign of a whale's breath. "There!" the volunteer shouted, pointing to a patch of water about a mile away. The boat surged forward, and as they drew closer, Cale's massive form came into view. He was swimming slowly, his tail barely breaking the surface. The barnacles were even worse than the photo suggested. They covered his back, fins, and tail, giving him an almost reptilian appearance. His breathing was labored, each spout accompanied by a low, rumbling groan. Sophia's heart sank. "He's exhausted," she said. "We don't have much time." The team approached cautiously, keeping their distance to avoid startling Cale. James, the veterinarian, used a drone to get a closer look. The drone's footage revealed deep wounds where the barnacles had burrowed into Cale's skin. Some areas were infected, oozing pus and blood. "He's in serious pain," James said. "We need to stabilize him before we can start removing the barnacles." The team deployed the stabilization net, a lightweight mesh designed to gently cradle the whale and keep it near the surface. Getting the net around Cale was a delicate operation. Divers swam alongside him, guiding the net into place while avoiding his powerful tail. Cale, sensing their presence, thrashed weakly, his eyes wide with fear. "Easy, big guy," Sophia whispered, though she knew he couldn't hear her. "We're here to help." After nearly an hour of careful maneuvering, the net was in place. Cale was secured, his body partially lifted by flotation devices attached to the net. He was still in the water, able to breathe, but his movements were restricted, allowing the team to work safely. The battle against the barnacles with Cale stabilized. The real work began. The team divided into groups: divers to remove the barnacles, veterinarians to monitor Cale's health, and volunteers to manage equipment and keep the boat steady. The divers, equipped with specialized scrapers and suction devices, descended into the water. The barnacles were stubborn, their shells cemented to Cale's skin with a natural adhesive stronger than concrete. Each one had to be carefully pried off to avoid tearing the whale's flesh. The divers worked in pairs, one scraping while the other used a suction tube to collect the debris. It was slow, painstaking work, and the divers had to surface frequently to avoid fatigue. Meanwhile, James and Sophia administered antibiotics and painkillers through a long pole syringe, injecting the medication directly into Cale's blubber. They also took blood samples to check for infection and dehydration. The results were grim. Cale was severely malnourished, his body struggling to fight off multiple infections. "He's been carrying this burden for months," James said. "It's a testament to his strength that he's still fighting." As the hours passed, the team made progress. Large patches of barnacles were removed, revealing raw, bleeding skin beneath. The divers applied a soothing ointment to the wounds, a biodegradable gel designed to promote healing and prevent further infection. Cale's breathing grew steadier, and his groans softened as if he sensed the relief. But the work was far from over. The barnacles on Cale's tail and fins were the most deeply embedded, and removing them risked causing serious damage. The team debated their options. "If we leave them, the infections will spread," Sophia said. "But if we push too hard, we could cripple him." James suggested a compromise. Remove the worst of the barnacles and treat the remaining ones with a chemical solution to loosen their grip over time. The team agreed, and the divers set to work, their movements precise and deliberate. A moment of connection. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the water, something remarkable happened. Cale, who had been passive throughout the procedure, suddenly turned his head, his massive eye locking onto Sophia. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Sophia felt a connection, a silent understanding between human and whale. It was as if Cale was saying, "Thank you." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes. "You're going to be okay," she whispered. "We've got you." The team worked into the night, their boat illuminated by floodlights. By midnight, they had removed nearly 80% of the barnacles, enough to give Cale a fighting chance. His skin, though scarred and raw, was beginning to heal, and his movements were stronger, more purposeful. The release at dawn, the team made the decision to release Cale. The infections were under control, and his strength was returning. Leaving him in the net any longer risked stressing him further. The divers carefully removed the net, guiding it away from Cale's body. As the last of the mesh fell away, Cale hesitated, his massive form still in the water. Then, with a powerful thrust of his tail, he dove. The team watched, breathless, as he disappeared beneath the waves. For a moment, they feared he was gone. But then, 100 yards away, Cale breached, his body soaring into the air before crashing back into the sea. The splash was enormous, a fountain of white water that sparkled in the morning light. The team erupted in cheers. Miguel and Juan embraced, their faces beaming with pride. Sophia and James high-fived, their exhaustion replaced by exhilaration. Cale was free, and he was alive. A new beginning. In the weeks that followed, the BMCN team monitored Cale's progress. Local whale-watching groups reported sightings of a humpback with distinctive scars, swimming strongly and rejoining a pod. His songs, once faint, were heard again, resonating through the ocean with renewed vigor. Cale's rescue became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in a world strained by human impact, compassion and collaboration can make a difference. The story spread, inspiring conservation efforts and raising awareness about the threats facing marine life. For Sophia, James, Miguel, Juan, and the countless volunteers who risked their safety to save Cale, the experience was life-changing. They had witnessed the resilience of a creature fighting against impossible odds, and they had played a part in his survival. As for Cale, he continues his journey through the ocean, his scars a testament to his ordeal and his triumph. Somewhere out there, he sings, his voice carrying across the waves a song of gratitude, of survival, and of the unbreakable bond between all living things. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If Cale's story touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video to spread the word about the importance of marine conservation. Together, we can protect these majestic creatures and the oceans they call home. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep exploring the wonders of our world.